Hello, Facebook land. Happy Friday, everybody. Today was the day of Rev Up, Unit 9 on your unique value proposition, knowing how to brand yourself, as well as farming, because at the end of the day, it's all on you, right? You need to know how to sell yourself. And the reason you chose Realty One Group is so we can simply assist you, give you great tools. You can take advantage of all of the things we have for you, but yet you know you are the only product that you're truly selling. So today I want to talk to you about establishing your brand and developing that farming database, because the one thing Russell Shaw always tells us that he wishes that he had done was create a farm in the beginning of his career. So, and I'm not talking about crops, y'all. So I am from Michigan and there's a lot of corn and other crops that we try to guess what they are all the time. That's not even what we're going to, but planting the seeds of your face, your name, and what you do. So we're going to get started here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And what you're going to see, I'm just going to go ahead and share all of screen one because that's exciting, is the Rev Up book. So this is, sorry, I said module 9. I guess, Friday is needed for me. This is module 2. And again, establishing your brand. And where we're going to start is that value proposition. So first of all, Realty One Group gives you a great value proposition. It's all about the C of caring about your clients, putting their needs first, making sure they have what will really make them thrive in the home purchase or the home selling opportunities. However, you need to think about, why would they use you? What is it about you that they would use? We have nearly 70,000 licensees in the state of Arizona. Out of that, about 35,000 like Realtor members are in Maricopa and Pinal counties. You happen to be in Maricopa or Pinal County and with Realty One Group under Ron Kopis. So how do you stand out? Because see, it doesn't matter if you're with a big company or a little company. 5 out of the 6 people you meet at the cocktail party, 5 out of the 6 people you meet in the industry, they're in the industry. Anywhere you go, there's another realtor. So what's different about you? And so this is where I want you to start thinking, why did I choose Realty One Group? How can I utilize some of those tools, which I will show you? And then how do I use my special power of being me? Because the one thing nobody else can be in this world is you, right? So this one value proposition is so extremely important. Write this down for yourself. Let me see if I can type on my screen while I give this to you. Annotate. I have to click a lot. I want you to write down competition.realtor. So you should be able to see it on your screen now, right here, competition.realtor. If you go to this site, this is a public facing site through the National Association of Realtors that gives you 185 things a buyer's realtor does for a buyer. It goes over compensation being negotiable with a seller. It has so many things to help you have value. The other few things that you have at your fingertips is you have Realty One Group's branding guidelines and tools and tips. And you also have one of the most amazing things. I love this tool, which is our One Design. I can't spell today, so one moment. Our One Design, the creative studio, has so much at your fingertips that all you have to do is click, add yourself, add your face, add your info, and boom, you're done, and get it out there. But the key is, guys, you have to be willing not to be a secret. So all of these things I'm about to give you, all these things I'm about to share with you, if you continue to sit on your couch, stay in your house, do anything to avoid the conversation of real estate, I can't help you. You can't help you. You will ultimately get out of the business. So your job is to find your passion, speak loudly about it, and know the one thing you're selling when you're selling yourself is the guarantees you'll make to the client base. Because at the end of the day, what ends up happening is if they don't use you, they use somebody else. And when they use somebody else, you cannot guarantee the service level, the knowledge base, and the gumption that person has. You could have only guaranteed your own. So I need you to use the tools that we'll set forth today. So, all right, get in the mindset. What about me should somebody use? What is it about me that they should be like, man, I should really use Brandy. I should really use Jim. I should really use Leroy, right? What about those people is this professional level, this comfort level, this, oh my gosh, when it comes to at least 6 zeros in a transaction, I trust so-and-so, right? So we want to think about what are you putting out there? So there's a little video I love about unique value propositions that get you going down that track. So I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you real fast here. After I get out of this tool, of course. Oh. All right, we also have to delete
Your UVP.
delete the tool. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute. We're going to do a new share and share sound. And here we go.
Your business's unique value proposition is the basis for every message you're sending out. If you own the only shoe repair service in town, your gigantic unique value proposition may be that you're the only shoe repairer in town. It's enough to hang up a shoe and have somebody come to you. If there are 15 shoe repair shops, however, you need to be the one that stands out in the crowd somehow. Identifying your unique value proposition is no easy task because it's not just about being valuable. It's about being unique. What do you bring to the table that others do not, or cannot, or are not willing to? How does someone know that you're good at what you do? Contrary to popular belief, it's not about the R's. Better, faster, cheaper. It's about the S's. Those are, you're the best, you're the fastest, you're the cheapest. If you just tell me that you're cheaper, are you Walmart? Because they're the cheapest. And if you tell me about how you make people happier, are you Disneyland? Because that's the happiest place on earth. And Zappos, the best online service. And the wine bar downtown, the largest selection of wines by the glass. That's something I'll tell my friends about. My dentist, he's the friendliest. And that's why I go there. And that's his unique value proposition. Think about what is it that you bring to the table? And sometimes that's hard to do when it's you. How about you ask some of your best clients, people that view you from the outside, and say, why did you choose me over someone else? Unfortunately, there will always be a portion of the population that ignores you. It doesn't matter how good your unique value proposition is in those cases. Those consumers just don't need what your company has to offer right now. And that's okay. Because if you're memorable, they'll come back to you when it matters, or they might just end up being a surprise referral source in the end.
So hopefully that was a little bit helpful to you to go, okay, what is it about me that people will use? Now, she does talk about the uniqueness. So my mission every day is to make professionals matter, to make their consumers matter, to make their clients matter, and ultimately to provide a service that others see value in by creating a positive environment for all to thrive in. That's my value proposition. It's making you matter with T's, not D's, right? And so I did not come up with that overnight. So if you're a brand new agent right now and you're a little bit struggling, like, well, what could I talk about? You know, this is what's going to keep me in my house is I don't have something. Well, then go off why you joined Realty One Group. Go off the reason they should use you is because the support you have, the knowledge base that you can tap into, the fact that you care enough never to mislead somebody, but you care enough to make sure they always are empowered with the right resources and information to make the best decisions for themselves. Use the code of ethics, right? So it took me about, oh geez, I've been a realtor for around 20 years now. And I would say I didn't really start tapping into everything until about year 7. And then once I obtained my Graduate Realtor Institute designation, which is basically like your bachelor's of real estate in the state of Arizona, it's called your GRI. You can go to azgri.com for more information. Then I started going, wow, what about me is different? What about me can I set apart? What about my services is different than the person's services next to me without actually being competition, but wanting to be more of the person that client is attracted to, right? That consumer is going, hey, I'm really feeling confident with Mandy. How do I do that? So you're not going to do this overnight, but I need you to start thinking about why should somebody use you? What can you put out in the world and stay consistent with that someone can use you? I did use a lot of different slogans at first, and slogans aren't always the best, neither are hashtags until you really get that vetted out. Ask somebody that's not a realtor what that meant to them. See if it sticks with them. See what their perspective is. Because when you only speak to realtors, we all kind of think the same way, but you're not trying to attract me to buy a house from you or you to sell my house. You're trying to attract a non-realtor to do that with you. So how do we go about that mission, right? And so I have a test that I do for myself on this, and I think of ideas at night. It just seems to come to me at night. And I used to write them all down, but now I'm kind of like, if it's going to stick, I will remember it tomorrow, right? If it's going to stick with me, if it's something that's stickable and that I could truly believe in and sell, it's going to come to me tomorrow. So write down a bunch of ideas, and then I dare you not to look at it until a couple days from now and see if any of them still make you feel a certain way that a consumer would feel that way about you. A consumer would say, man, I really want to get to know that person, right? Because that's really what it breaks down to. So your OVP, your one value proposition, which is also known as your UVP, your unique value proposition, use Realty One Group while you're figuring yourself out. We have so many amazing things about us that you can utilize for yourselves. Unmatchable, the service level I provide will be unmatchable to anybody else because I care enough to keep my business and our communications transparent to you, because it's not my house. It's your house. It's not my future. It's your future. And I want to make sure you matter. Untraditional. You might be used to somebody being reactive to your questions, but I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to set up a system for you that you know what's coming next, right? But I want you to know and feel confident in always being able to contact me. So these things are extremely important, and I need you to take a moment for yourself and dive into that. So while I go to the next slides, I want you to think about that for one moment while I pull up something else for you. If the computer allows me. I think the internet world knows it's Friday as well, so it's slowing up a little bit here. And that was me. So your next step is going to simply be logging into resources you were given the minute you joined Realty One Group, or the next day, but pretty fast if you ask me. You all should have been able to log in at this point to your One.Zone, and this is your dashboard. On your dashboard, you're going to see a lot of great selections. Make sure you're really diving into SkySlope. Even if you don't have a client yet, I need you to know your forms. I need you to know your processes. I need this to be your homework, right? You should be spending, as a brand new agent, in my opinion, 30 to 45 minutes a day re-reviewing agency contracts, listings, price pointing. And when you're an experienced agent, at least twice a week, guys, go back to your forums, look for updates, reread something. How do you understand it today versus how you understood it then? What was the intent, right? So that plays a lot, in my opinion, into your UVP, as your knowledge base and your willingness to learn. Because a consumer, before saying they want you to know the process, per NAR stats, wants you to have integrity. So they don't want to be lied to. And they want you to keep your word that you will always find them the right answers. And the only way to do that for the standard of practice, the standard of business in Arizona, is for reasonable skill and care to shine through in your knowledge base of our standards, which is your Arizona Realtor documents, your Realty One documents, and your Arizona Regional Multiple Listing Service documents. But on the flip side, we're doing marketing and branding. So we're going to click on One Login. When you're in One Login, what you want to do next is always go over here to where it says your apps and select down to everything. When you have everything, you will see all the tools that we discussed with you when you first joined the company, and anything added or changed or, beautified, because Realty One Group is pretty pretty. And so we want to make sure you have all that. Now, once you start using things regularly and you want quick shortcuts, you can do a shortcut up here on your screen, which is your Google Chrome shortcut, and go directly to the items. You can click on your frequents and you can see what I frequently go to versus other things. But for right now, we want to make sure that you are seeing everything available to you. We're going to start with the brand guidelines. And in the brand guidelines, some of the First of all, the favorite thing I have about it is probably not what you have about it, and that's okay. I'll never forget when I was interviewed by Leah Kramer, and she clicked on logo usage, and in logo usage, there is this beautiful guide of information. And I click guide and I say styling. Realty One Group is so detailed with our colors and our fonts and our imagery. And I love that about us, that they go so deep into giving you any kind of code you would need just to get the basic gold. I don't know how many of you have ever just tried to design something in the past or built websites. I used to build websites for realtors, not from scratch like our amazing corporate team does. But there was a lot that I had to play with colors all the time. And that would take me 6 hours of my day to make my boss happy with the same color or to make me happy with how something looks. And when I joined Realty One Group and I saw that they were this detailed, I was like, I'm so happy. And so I just want you to know that you don't need to today go in and go, who do I want to be specifically? If you know you want to be a successful realtor, what success means to you, maybe that's money, maybe that's assisting somebody with their next journey in life, whatever that is to you. When it comes to branding yourself, utilize what you've been gifted, utilize what you've bought into, which is being a Realty One Group realtor and knowing that you matter and that everything's at your fingertips to use. So this is my happy zone right here, but really your happy zone is probably going to be something under social. In social, there are so many things here you can utilize. And if your clientele base is mostly Spanish speaking, or you have any Spanish speaking clients, we also have all these assets available in Spanish. Please note, though, there are many different dialects of every language. You can think about American English, and you can go to Kentucky and speak fully differently than somebody from Arizona, right? So just be aware of that. Never come from a place of, I have to be so specific unless you already know what, who your target audience is in their dialects or what you speak, then go in and correct things for yourself. Also, please know if you do go down this angle of Spanish speaking assets at aaronline.com, our Arizona forms are also all translated into Spanish. So you cannot utilize those in the sense of negotiating a deal, but you can utilize those in the sense of putting something down side by side with a consumer who primarily speaks Spanish. And why is this so important, right? Like so many people go, why do you hound me on this, Mandy? You're from Michigan, you speak Mandarin English. Like, I get it. Most people don't understand me. That means I'm just talking to myself. But the reason is per NARIP, the National Association of Hispanic Realtors, what the future is in Arizona within the next 5 years, they're predicting 70% of Arizona will have some kind of Hispanic culture in them, right? That this is the fastest growing culture, and how awesome, right? So I just think if you are going to go down this road, you want to make sure you go down this road properly, and you want to make sure that you're setting people up for success. Also, with artificial intelligence that Justin Taylor with ROC Title keeps trying to share with you guys to use through ChatGPT. Also, ChatGPT is now integrated with some of your Canva Pro accounts. If you do that on the side, you can do translation options. Be aware, if you translate and you do not speak the language, go to a third-party site at all times and have it translate back to you, right? Because you don't want to put something out there hoping it's correct. You want to make sure it is correct. Holidays, though, when we come to branding, is one of my favorite things, because using fluff to just say, hey, happy whatever holiday, is really important to stay in front of people. I mean, we all remember the auntie that sends you cards every birthday, no matter what, right? You're never forgotten. And so this is a great place to grab some of that great information and be able to use it at your fingertips. You just download them. You can upload them on Canva. You can upload them to your One Creative Studio, and you can add your info to them. See, a lot of realtors focus so much on statistics and numbers and programs. The thing is, guys, if a buyer and a seller are not ready to be a buyer and a seller. They're a human you're trying to build a relationship with. They're a human you want to have think of you when they think real estate, think of you when they need to refer somebody out. Well, then I need you to remember they don't care until it applies to them. So how do you build that relationship with them? So this is a great place to use these awesome assets for that. Then, of course, you could go through all of these concepts. There's so much, it's unreal. They have fun stickers that you can use for social that move. They have just tons and tons of great things that you can use in any capacity. Under essentials, though, don't forget you also have in here some things already branded with our color schemes that you can utilize by just putting your name in. And it's all about you looking more professional. So make sure that you do this. And whatever you do, do it with consistency. If you look at my posts when it comes to real estate, you'll always see they say hashtag making you matter. And they also say hashtag ROGPV style, because that's Realty One Group Paradise Valley. Right. So I brand everything to my office. I brand everything to who I am. I brand everything to my value proposition. You need to do the exact same thing. The next thing I want to show you, we go back to the one dashboard, or sorry, one login page, is our creative studio. Please make sure that by the end of today, it's Friday. I mean, you can do this in 30 minutes if you take a while with computers. If you don't take a while, it can take you like 5 or 10 minutes tops. Set it up. You need to make sure your photo's in there, your logo you want to use. So you see I'm right here. And then I can go down here and choose so many things. So they actually are trying to integrate the holiday posts in here as well already. So you can just click on one of them. You can create the design. I could do business cards. I could do flyers. I want you to be very, very, very aware of AIR-MLS rules. The MLS Plano is not to be utilized as a flyer. And number one, shows you're lazy because you just printed some info off the internet. Number two, it does not do any branding for you. And number three, at an open house, don't you want them to remember you? Right? So in here, you could choose any flyer, just click on it and you can create a design. Your face will pop up. You can put an MLS number, upload all the photos for your open house. You can upload pictures and boom, look at all these amazing templates right at your fingertips. So that in itself is just incredible. The other thing is there's postcards, there are recruiting things, which basically when I recruit, it's the exact same thing you do when you try to find consumers. There's Facebook banners, there's market updates. I love market updates because I can use this for just about anything. So once a quarter, I do a market update to consumers on my Facebook page, and it's really to consumers and realtors because it's whoever is one of my friends. And the one I loved that I did last was the market update here, which was our conforming loan limits, our inventory rates, and our absorption rates, which show buyer and seller demand. And it was just like, hey, there's a lot of opportunity for you. And it's not as scary as the TV presents, right? But it was really quick bullet point things. So this is all really important. Also, when we're talking about branding, there's something you all need to take into consideration. So we're going to go back to your workbook real fast. And what I want you to remember is that whatever you do with your marketing, you need to hit different personality styles. So I'm going to annotate one more time with you here, which is when I write test. And there's some personality styles I need you to understand marketing tidbits for. So D, we're going to do what's called the DISC. This is your dominant, which is also, in my opinion, your power kind of person. Very short to the point. Don't really care about the fluff stuff. Just want to get my info, make it attractive enough. I read it, I get it, move on. Right. So I want to hit that personality. Then I want to hit an I personality, which is also known as your influencer. And that is your party person. And so it needs to be pretty and fun. Something about it needs to be attractive enough. I go, woo, I want to read that. Right. But I want to read it and I want it still to be fast and to the point because I'm moving on. You can only hold my attention for so long as an I. An S personality, this one's fun. You know, I actually don't know what the S stands for other than like super cool, is my peacekeeper. This is somebody who's like, you know, whatever the style is, as long as it reflects what I'm looking for to know. I'll read it, and I'm not here to shake the boat. I just want everybody to be happy, right? So if I hit the key concepts of a D and an I, that's great, because an S will probably read it. But then an S typically takes their time and wants more information. So how are they going to find more information? What resources did you quickly give that also link back to you? Which is a great reason to start using the website that's given to you through Realty One Group as well, because you can link everything back to a web page, right? You can link everything back to more information. And then we have our amazing folks, which are my favorite, when I'm not going to type compliant or compliance or conscientious or any of the awesome C words I could type. I'm just going to tell you this is the preparer. This is our analytical friend who wants the info, but then wants to know where you got the info, how you came up with the info, and in their opinion, is the info correct? Right. So that's again why I need more sources. And even on my own webpage, then I need sources to sources, right? I need sources to FHAFA.gov. Again, that was FHAFA.gov that talk about conforming loan limits. I need resources to the down payment assistance programs. I need resources, improving information on how the market's going and what economists do I listen to. And so all of these people wrapped up, how do I get their attention? Right? All these personalities enough to want to use me as their source. So that is a really good way when you're thinking about, after you figure out you and your marketing, okay, great. Now that I'm getting it out there, how can they source the source, right? Like, how do they get what they need? Is it fast? Is it a phone call? A DI is going to be fast in a phone call. Like that, you attracted them, they agree with you, they don't agree with you, you're moving on. An S or a C is going to take longer for them to trust you. And an S and a C personality, just to let you know, an S or a C or an S and a C, once they trust you, your referral base will do nothing but grow. If you live by your word and have true integrity in this business, your referral base based on your marketing that attracted them, the information you gave them, their friends that are mostly D and I will do nothing but go, oh, well, I trust you, so I should use that person, right? So this is the best place to kind of think, all right, it needs to be fast, it needs to be fun, it needs to be beautiful, but then what resources am I giving on the back end? What am I doing to create relationships in my marketing, but then to always be on point with current up-to-date information? And I don't mean 6 months after something happened, I mean now, right? Like, how do I do that now? So this is all part of marketing. Okay, take a deep breath. Woo, that was a lot in the first 30 minutes, but you guys are doing great. And the great thing is you can pause me afterwards and come back to it later. The next thing we're going to be doing once I get out of annotate again is what we call, okay, annotate, clear screen, clear all. All right, the next thing we're going to be doing is in your book on 3 and 4, just to let you know, your voicemail, everything needs to line up. Make sure everything's consistent. Everything looks good, short, to the point, is farming. Farming's concept is really cool. If I plant seeds of who I am and what I provide, people in that area that I keep planting those seeds and reaping the soil and watering the soil and re-fertilizing the soil will eventually want to utilize me. They'll know me at the grocery store. They'll know me at the local school. They'll know me at the library. They'll see my face and go, oh, aren't you the real estate lady? Or aren't you the real estate gentleman? Or aren't you the real estate person? And they'll know that, right? But who do I want to attract? Number one, that's something you have to know. Who am I trying to attract? Also be very cautious not to ever violate a protected class, right? When thinking about this too. What area do I want to serve? So geographic is area. So I lived in Garden Lakes, which is a suburb of Avondale, Arizona. It's north of I-10. It goes between Avondale Boulevard. Well, no, that's way too far. It goes between 111th Avenue and 115th Avenue. It's a very specific geographic location. When I dive deep into there's 2 different areas of it. There's a lakeside, which I think is ponds, but they call them lakes. And then there's an outer circle. There's a value difference. There's people who have lived there for over 5 years. There's people who have lived there over 20 years now. Like, who am I? What houses, what geographic location within those locations am I going to niche down to say that's my farming area? Demographics, again, this is the part, do not harm a protected class. I do not ever want to hear someone say, well, I only want to help families. Nope. Familial status protected class. I want to serve the military folks. I want to help people with their VA loan, not a protected class. See the difference? First time home buyers. I want to focus because it's so exciting to get someone from point A to point B and be like, oh my gosh, this is the first home we've ever owned. I want to find sellers. I want to find sellers who have lived in their home for 15 years and are ready to change their location. Okay, great. Let's focus on those move up or move down by sellers, right? But never should I hear a color, a religion, a gender identity, a specific who you love. None of the protected classes should ever come into play with demographics. When we talk demographics, investors, non-investors, first-time home buyers, seasoned buyers, that's okay. So think about that as well. And again, what your job is when you're farming is to stay top of mind. So if I'm going to do geographic or demographic, how am I going to be in front of these people? When I lived on the military base, we got something at Luke Air Force Base, which was called the Thunderbolt. It was when we still had newspaper. We still have newspaper, by the way, guys. And in the Thunderbolt, certain people would advertise their services and they would call themselves VA specialists, and they have the backings and the designations and the experience to call themselves that, right? So they weren't puffing, which is not allowable. And that was awesome because we knew exactly what demographic they wanted to help people with VA loans. Geographic, you see in your mailbox who's doing geographic farming. They should be hitting you every 3 weeks with something of value, which is not statistics, by the way. It's relationship building information. It's community information. If all you do is say, let me tell you about the sold houses, no one cares until they want to sell. And then if they threw away your card, they don't care, right? My friend shared with me something that was really interesting the other day, and on geographic farming, she said, oh my gosh, I've had such an urge, and she's a grandma now, so she no longer has kids, for Girl Scout cookies. And she was like, I couldn't find them anywhere. And all I wanted was Girl Scout cookie. And I knew it was cookie time. And she goes, I was so excited to come home and find this postcard on my front door. And it was this girl in the neighborhood saying, go to my website and I'll deliver the cookies you buy from me. And she put it on the counter and her husband, oopsie, threw it away. And that girl only delivered that card one time. And she could never figure out who that little girl was that was delivering cookies. So she ended up going and walking around different areas and ended up at the park across the way, and there was a Girl Scout stand and she bought cookies. But that little girl who delivered that postcard that one time, if they hadn't thrown it away, if they remembered where it was, which come on, y'all, face it, we throw our stuff away, we misplace it when we need it, all kinds of things. If that little girl did it more than one time, even if she went back 3 days later and reposted a postcard, right? Because Girl Scout cookie time is a very short time, actually. Then she would have bought Girl Scout cookies from that little girl. But that's not what happened. She forgot who that little girl was. She didn't know who that little girl was because it was a one-time thing, and it worked or it didn't work that one time, right? And it depended if someone kept that postcard. So when you do these marketing tidbits, you have to think, how often can I afford to stay in front of that community of people? Because if I can only do it once and go, oh, well, it didn't work, or I do it twice, oh, it didn't work. Well, guess what, guys? You're just wasting money. You're just wasting your time, because I need you actively involved where you're going to be marketing. I need you actively involved in the community. And so there's one other site I would like to give you real fast that will help you stay actively involved in all these amazing areas. So I'm going to go blue on this one. Oh, I want to type. And it's actually a certification as well. And at this time, it is at no additional cost. It's through the National Association of Realtors. And it did not do blue, but whatever, I'm over it. It's called C2EX.Realtor. Well, if I can type it, it will happen. C2EX.Realtor is your commitment to excellence. And in that commitment to excellence, there are checklists and spreadsheets and things you can do to get you out in the community, to make farming work, to meet people. When I lived in Avondale, I didn't just market Avondale. I went through the city leadership program. I was all over their web pages by volunteering. I did not expect anything in return. I ended up being a commissioner for Avondale on planning and zoning. I was on board of adjustments. I really in depth just gave 110% of me, but I was never a secret. I was never a secret of how I fed my family. I was never a secret of what I wore on my chest that said I'm a realtor. And so that's one of the hardest things for realtors is, well, I don't want to be selling. Well, don't be selling. Go give 110%. And you know what you get in return? So much more. So C2EX.Realtor does help you with those concepts. It also helps you with your knowledge base, and it's gamified. So it's actually quite exciting. And it does count towards your code of ethics requirement for the National Association of Realtors. So something you have to continually do, something you have to continually be involved in, but completely worth it. So here we go. I'm going to teach you how to farm in a second. Just to let you know, there are a lot of research and choosing a farm in here of what you should be really looking at. Like, is it even going to be worth it for you? Is there like 5,000 realtors and you also in your mailbox and you also see their names on all the signs? Is it where you live? How the escrow company, the title company can assist you with marketing? Please reach out to ROC Title. Bree and Lynn are fantastic and they can help you set up your marketing. Also, we have different marketers throughout the entire valley with ROC Title. So any of them can sit down with you one-on-one and assist you with this and give you a lot of great information and mailing addresses. I really need to learn how to clear my screen faster, right? And then it goes on to like researching the neighborhood, getting down to the nitty gritty. So in your book, you have so many amazing things and I just need you to know you need to be wherever you're going to market, whatever you're going to do, so involved that you can speak about houses, you can speak about absorption rates. That's your pricing class later. You can speak to what's available, what's been selling. You need to know these items. So don't just think that it's just going to be a one-time thing and it happens. I'm going to tell you, first of all, it takes 6 to 8 months to even have someone know your name, potentially if they read their mail, right? Or if you're involved enough face-to-face. And then it takes another 6 to 8 months to reap the benefits of that. But you're not in this for a year, right? You're in this for a lifelong career. So you need to go, am I going to do the hard work now? So in the future, I keep working hard, but I start getting the benefits from that. And again, farming is just one pathway to success. So now we're going to go into ARMLS.com. Oh, not on that page though, huh? And ARMLS.com, we are going to pull a farm area because it is very, very true that the biggest thing you can do, and escrow helps so much with this. ROC Title will help you pull your addresses, tell you if people are renting it. You can really have them pull a lot of great info for you. I want to teach you how to do it for you. Okay, so they do have tools and greatness, but if it's Saturday and it's 6 o'clock and you're telling me that you want to do this, you need to know your system. You need to know your databases. MLS is not scary. MLS is a database. MLS is not something you can mess up. Don't put in fake listings. Do me that favor. You will be fined. Don't do things like that. But this is truly a database of information at your fingertips, and how you decide as a user to use it is what differentiates you from somebody else. So the biggest thing is monsoon. So if you go to menu, and then you go under taxes and you click on monsoon. This is your tax base. You can also go directly to mymonsoon.com. It's the same as your MLS login. I have it as a shortcut on my phone. It's one of my favorite tools other than RPR and Flex MLS directly, of course. But mymonsoon.com is where I'm going to search and gather information in my neighborhood, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do tax search. In the tax search, my demographic for my geographic farm for this example is going to be people who have lived in their homes for at least 7 years, because I want to get sellers in their owner occupied dwelling, so primary residence. If I was looking for buyers, I would be looking for rentals, and I would be looking for I'd just be looking for rentals in this specific area, to be honest, because now I don't know the name of the renter, but I want to get in front of them. And then that would double dip into having the name of a landlord and mailing them information about when they should sell their rental property, right? So I could get sellers and buyers that way. So these are things you have to think of. Who am I going to focus on? Because every piece I mail out costs me something, right? Every time I leave my house, it costs me something. So how am I going to get in front of these people? So under tax here, what we're going to do is we're going to look, I'm going to do my subdivision. So I told you it was Garden Lakes. So I put in Garden Lake in a wild card, which is shift 8, because how people input information is very interesting, including the tax assessor. The next thing I'm going to do, I always put in the city. So this was in Avondale as an example. I am going to put in the legal classification of the home. You might want to go through here and look at all these amazing legal classifications, but what I'm going to do is owner occupied residential. Owner occupied residential. And then I'm also going to do primary. I believe it was, I thought we had another one. Let me just double check. And you know, things change and sometimes my brain just doesn't know. Nope, I'm staying with owner occupied residential. Fantastic. I am then going to go down to the sale date. And I'm going to say my maximum sale date is going to be, I almost said 1996. 7 years ago would be 2016. So January 1st, 2016. That would be funny to win it. And then I'm going to say search. Now, sometimes I mess up the sales dates, just to be honest with you. So I always go up here real fast before I start getting into the weeds, and I click on cards because it's going to tell me the sale dates. So no, I did good this time. That's in itself amazing. So I want people who have owned their homes prior to 2016. Because they may be thinking of selling, and I want sellers when I farm areas. That's what I'm looking for personally. I also know my budget, and I know that if I do anything over 100 people to start with, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to run out of money really fast and I cannot sustain. So your farm area can always grow, and grow, but please be aware while it's growing, you need to be doing things that you can actually make money on. That's how it grows. So I will tell you, you have to know your areas. Okay, when you pick a farm area, research it, walk it, know it. Know where you live, know where people see you. Don't just, if I lived over here where it says 23 homes, and then I'm going to mark it all the way here where it says 56 homes, because I'm like, well, I want that one. Yeah, well, you better be bicycling or driving and parking and walking and talking and getting to know the folks, because unfortunately, this kind of gap these days, you just might never see each other. And if they don't physically see you, I'm sad to say, real estate is not all computer-based. Computers are a tool, but there are many successful realtors out there that just walk their areas, play pickleball, do whatever they got to do to stay in front of people. Real estate is very people-to-people business. So that face-to-face is what differentiates you from AI. It's what differentiates you from Google. So I need you to get out there. So pick smartly. So I will tell you that I used to live, and I still own the home, but I'm not there anymore. So I'm not marketing here right now. Right here where it says 20 homes. I also know, because this is my subdivision, right, that if I want to look at values of property, the outer circle away from the lakes are worth less money than the inner circle, and they also have a harder time selling than the inner circle, which is something you also need to know when you're price pointing. When I'm looking at this subdivision, do I take it as a whole, as the master plan community, or do I break it into its areas? And you should always be looking at the specific area. I'm then going to go ahead and draw what I want to have this go down to. So I'm going to say, I just want this inner circle right here. And then I'm going to say search again. That was a polygon. And that's going to take me down to 139 properties. I can decide if I'm going to want to go through 139 properties, or if I'm not going to go through 139 properties. I'm going to tell you, I most likely am going to go through these properties before I dwindle down to my final list, because one thing I'm going to look for is very specific on, is it an LLC that owns it? Is it a person that owns it? Because I know the world is perfect and everyone classifies their homes properly, right? But yet they don't. So I want to make sure that I really have 100 homes that I'm going to set up properly. Okay. So what I'm going to do from here, because this is all great information, but to click in each one would be way too much, right? So from here, I'm going to export. And when I export, it gives me options of what to choose from. You can select, by the way, any color that makes you happy. I happen to select purple. That's a whole settings thing. It's just for fun. Under property information, this is what I want to know. The rest of it does not matter to me. And this, I can select subdivision if I want and have it listed, or I don't have to. I typically, I just need my facts. I do always keep the structure information that the database has in its system. Please note, rooms and fixtures are most likely pointless because it's per room per the tax assessor, living room, dining room, bedroom, right? So it's like 10 and you're going, what does 10 mean? Fixtures is plumbing fixtures, toilets, sinks, things of that nature. So it's a little weird. But then the rest of it, I really want to know. I then always go down to trustee information. Now, if you're being sold in 2023, this is April 7th, 2023, that you should buy into some program about short sales. We've always had short sales, y'all. Short sales is where someone's selling because they can no longer afford their home and they owe more than they are selling for, and there's going to be a short amount to the bank. Or it's another thing they're selling is bank-owned properties, foreclosures. I'm going to tell you right now, this is your database. You might find one, or you might find zero when you get down this small, but it's not like people are selling through the internet and the fear factors right now on April 7th, 2023. So I always want to know, because if this comes up as a yes, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to aaronline.com. I'm going to go to advisories and I'm going to download the short sale advisory for sellers, which goes over all their options to bankrupt, foreclose, short sale, deed in lieu of foreclosure, and say, hey, I wanted to give you a resource as your neighbor. Your information's your information. It's just something I keep track of in our subdivision. If there's any way I can assist you, let me know, but I want you to have the proper information. What did I just do? I became an advocate. I became someone who put someone else's needs before themselves, and I did not ask for anything in return, but I did say, if you need me, I'm here. I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm just here to help. So I always look for that, because that's one of the hardest things for people to deal with in their life, is when they're losing, right? So this is all the information I want to know at this point. I then go export, and when I export it, it's going to download it into a CSV file. That CSV file, I'm just going to make sure you can still see this in a moment. You can see it. This is fantastic. The CSV file really breaks down all the information for me. This is Excel. I'm assuming one day we'll be able to download to Google Sheets, since my kids do not know what Excel means. But here you go. If you double click any of the cells, it will bring it out to the size of the largest item. And my big thing is I have the owner's names, and I can go down and I can go, okay, if it's a trust, that's cool. I get that. That means you probably really do live there. You're just doing a really good job setting yourself up for the financial future with your legacy. If it's an LLC, though, I'm going to tell you, I don't think it's a trust. I think it's probably a rental. So I go down and I read through them, because I want to see what's going on in my area. I am going to spend adequate time, maybe diving into 10 properties a night, to just make sure, if not more, who sold them their houses, if I could still find it, if they're a realtor, because I don't know about you, I don't want to waste my money marketing my friends. I also see that they're all owner occupied. I can see the year that the property was built. I can see if it has a pool. If it has a pool, it has a 1. If that pool has a square, if it has a pool, it has a size of a pool. One thing I could do too is, knowing that in Avondale, Arizona, knowing that Maricopa County, homes with maintained pools sell faster than homes without, typically, not always, but typically. I could actually go ahead and go sort this whole sheet and only market to people with pools. I can look at if it's a 1-story home, a 2-story home, what the garage size is. I could dive deep and go, I really want to focus on those 3-car garage homes in Garden Lakes, because they go like a heartbeat, and that's what I want to be selling, is something with a pool and a 3-car garage, and I'm pretty good. I'm looking at their mailing address. See, this is a mailing address. This mailing address is different than the property address, which tells me I don't know if Larry really lives there, right? Like Larry's getting his mail at this PO box. Am I going to waste my time on this one? Am I going to knock on the door? Am I going to research more? These are all things that you can go from this, and then you can sit there and you can handwrite cards. You can see this is a CSV file. You can create mail merges with labels. But the thing is, I just created my own geographic farm. And I have the information. Ask the title reps, ask our marketing reps. How do I get phone numbers? How do I get more information on these properties? Hey, this is what I'm honing into. How do I do more with this? You know, get them to help you. They're a great resource. It costs you nothing. And then when you bring them an escrow, they thank you and you have a great partnership, right? So you want to make sure you continue those relationships. But at the end of the day, guys, your job is to know your craft, and this is part of it. And make sure that you wisely do this. Don't take any shortcuts. Spend the time. Everything that you take time on is worth it because you're investing in yourself. So with that, I want to thank you for the hour you spent with me today. I want to tell you all you got this. It's Friday, and I hope you have a fantastic month of April. See you on the other end. Bye.